Hi, my name's Jay. In this methods lesson, I'm going to explain a key structure for PTE speaking describe image. But in order to do that, we first need to understand how you're scored on this task. Describe image scoring. Describe image is the only speaking task that does not contribute points to the other skills. It only contributes points to your speaking score. To receive a maximum score in describe image, you have to introduce the image or graph, describe the key features of the image or graph, and also provide a conclusion to the image or graph. Of course, it's not just what you say, but it's also how you say it as well. So you're also scored on your delivery. More specifically, you're scored on your pronunciation, or how clearly you articulate the sounds of English, your fluency, or how smoothly you speak without hesitating or umming and ahhing. Now that you know how you're scored, let's look at a proven method that you can use to describe just about any image or graph that you might see on test day. Of course, you'll need to remain flexible, but this method will work if you practice it. Describe image method. Introduction. The first thing you need to do when you see the image or graph is to introduce it by saying something like this. This graph represents. Then you should mention the title. This graph represents the title. And if it's a graph, not an image, the x-axis as well. This graph represents the title and the x-axis. It might sound something like this. This graph represents the number of people studying psychology at a university from 1940 to 2010. Body. Because the time moves so quickly while doing this task, especially on test day, you need only pick out a few key features or main trends and describe them. There's just not enough time to describe everything in detail, so don't put that pressure on yourself. Just go with whatever your eye first notices. It'll usually be the biggest and the smallest features, and that's fine. You don't win additional points for a sophisticated description. Just keep it simple. After you've spent about 20 seconds describing the key features or the main trends, you'll need to spend a few seconds concluding. Conclusion. A top score for content requires you to conclude your description. Again, it doesn't need to be sophisticated, but it should begin with the phrase in conclusion or overall. You might want to mention a prediction or say something general about the graph or image, such as, overall, the number of people studying psychology has risen throughout the years. The timer is your best friend in this task, not your worst enemy. Use it to guide you through the introduction, body, and conclusion. Describe image example. This graph represents how much sweetener was available to US citizens between 1966 and 2012. The total amount of sweetener increased slightly over time from about 130 pounds per person. Refined cane and beet sugars decreased until about 1986 when it then plateaued. Corn sweeteners increased until 1986 when it then plateaued as well. Honey and edible syrups remained low and stable. Overall, the total amount of sweeteners has increased in the US. Describe image practice. Like the rest of the tasks, you'll need to practice describe image to make sure you can apply the method and apply it to any image or graph you see. What's more, you'll need to practice under timed conditions so you develop an internal clock while doing this.
To get exclusive access to PTE academic preparation materials and methods, please check out e2language.com.